The Buck Sexton Show.
All right, team, we're joined now by our friend Kat Timpf. She is a National Review reporter, also a Fox News contributor. She has a piece on National Review about a university plastering its campus with posters asking students to check size privilege. What does that mean? Kat's going to tell us. Kat, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Size privilege at Southern Oregon University means what, and how does one check that privilege?
See, that's what I kind of thought, because I thought all bodies of all sizes were all beautiful and should be celebrated, no matter how big they are. They're all equal. I thought that was the social justice opinion we were all supposed to have. So I was confused, but I guess if you're of, what could it mean, fit, thin, size, you're privileged over people who aren't. And the school thinks it's very important for people to constantly be thinking about that. For some reason.
So they don't ever specify. So size privilege is just, they're just trying to get in your head, check your size privilege. It's like, well, what does that mean exactly?
Analyze your own size and decide if you're privileged to be that size or not. In between doing your homework, and which I thought was kind of the more important thing that you're supposed to do at college.
College and education
Yeah, it's getting insane. Well, the poster has a lot of other privileges listed on it: white, male, class, Christian, neurotypical, cisgender, able-bodied, heterosexual, and size.
What does neurotypical? Does that mean not? Does that mean not like? What does that mean? Not crazy? What neurotypical? I mean, there's not. I've never heard of that term before.
I guess it could. No, me neither. I guess it could span anything. It could be mental illness. It could be developmental issues. I don't know. I mean, it's gotten to the point where they keep adding and adding and adding more and more and more things. So I don't know how these kids are going to have time to do anything else besides just sit around and think about how guilty they should feel.
Yeah, I know Triumph, the insult comic dog, visited, University of New Hampshire earlier in the week. It wasn't one of his better ones, but asking those students to define different terms and explain different terms to him, the bit that they used to do on Conan. And what's funny is that these kids are all, and this is something you see across the spectrum, they're all very convinced that these are important issues, but then when asked to explain what does that even mean, they don't have answers.
Exactly, because, they're just constantly repeating over and over and over again the same, little buzzword salad without even having to think about what it means. They know what the right answer is. White privilege, male privilege, heteronormative patriarchal society, and this is all bad, bad, bad. And I can find it here and here and there, but they don't actually think about what it actually means or what are the implications that it has on society that we're talking about this way rather than having actual conversations about things. Yeah, no, because they don't have to. They're not being taught how to think. They're being taught what to think. And it's just these same buzzwords over and over again.
And I know you're working on a piece, but haven't written it yet, but you're going to be writing a piece on how to have a politically correct Valentine's Day. I wanted to know if you could give us some tips because, we don't want to, obviously, we don't want to have an un-PC Valentine's Day, which is Sunday, right? I need to remember these things. But how does one, or how would one have a politically correct Valentine?
Well, I'm on Social Justice Internet, and I'm compiling a list that will be out later today. Basically, it's the idea that Valentine's Day is heteronormative. The focus on romantic love is offensive to asexual people. It's patriarchal. It's oppressive. So just some suggestions for how to celebrate Valentine's Day in a way that's, fighting the oppression that comes with it.
You can't give us any. There's no sneak peek here at what some of the ways are.
Well, one of them suggests that you give your friends the benefit of no means no conversation heart ring, just to make sure that they're as into consent as you are. That's very romantic.
This is an important safety tip, I suppose. Also, did you get a chance to watch the Democratic debate last night, or are you going to watch the Republican debate this Saturday?
I didn't watch it last night. I am going to watch the Republican debate on Saturday for sure. I get a little too excited about these debates. They're like my Christmas every time.
So you enjoy it. So what are you expecting to see now that the field has been winnowed down to but 6 stalwart candidates for the GOP nomination?
Right. Well, it's gonna be more serious conversations. Obviously, people are going to get to talk more. It's going to be more serious. People are going to get to talk more now that the field is narrowing. It's kind of more crunch time. And some of these people I don't understand why are still in the race. Like I love Ben Carson, okay, as a dude, but there's really particularly no reason why he should be president. And these debates, it always kind of gets worse for him. But it's going to be seeing Trump back in it is going to be interesting. Trump, the whole Trump cruise thing, and Jeb's going to be trying to be a tough guy. It's been pretty similar most of the time, but now that New Hampshire is over, it's kind of all over the place, and Rubio's going to have to come back. He had a pretty bad go-around last time.
Where are you on the whole Trump thing, by the way? I don't think I've ever asked you that before.
On the whole, well, I'm a libertarian, so there's obviously absolutely nothing about him that's libertarian, so I could never, ever support him. But, there's obviously things I have problems with all candidates because I'm not in either party. So, there's something about me and my views for everyone to hate, and, that goes both ways.
So when do you think Rand Paul dropped out too soon?
No, the writing was on the wall, but I was sad.
Why didn't he get more traction? He didn't even seem to have the Ron Paul fervor from his supporters.
No.
He was
Ron Paul. I much preferred Ron Paul myself. I've never been more geeked for anybody. I actually have a giant T-shirt with a squirrel on it that says "Get angry, vote for Dr. Paul" that I got from a Ron Paul rally I went to when I was in college. He just has more of that captivating energy, really, and he's a little less afraid to really go for it and say things, because even if they sound radical. And, Rand Paul obviously had that different view on foreign policy, which I did like, and I really also just liked seeing that on stage, because it kind of showed people like me who have those differing views that, there is kind of a place for you here. It's not all just saying, I'm going to bomb ISIS more. And so I think the conversations as a whole have gotten a little less interesting since he hasn't, been involved.
My sense of Rand Paul in this, and I got a chance to speak to him up in New Hampshire right between, I guess I'm like bad luck for the Paul campaign, because right a few days afterwards he decided it was kaput. He was done. But my sense of it is that in trying to become more electable as a candidate, he became more irrelevant as a voice in the race.
I completely agree with that. What he had going for him were his differences, so he should have just really capitalized on that more. That's what his dad did. His dad wasn't afraid about, being electability, and that's what made people like me just really, really, really excited about it. And, I liked him the best, but I definitely wasn't excited in the same way.
And in a year where Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump and these sort of out there, outsider, sort of wacko candidates in different ways, in a year where they're getting all this traction, I think that you could have, look, I don't think Rand Paul was going to win regardless, but I think he could have done a lot better, or at least made much more of a splash had he decided to go out like his dad used to, which is just, stick to what he believes and say it and don't care about what the polls show.
I completely agree with that, and I really think that's what lost him. And even libertarians were kind of disappointed with the way that he kind of switched on foreign policy, and we're kind of like, what does he really believe? So it was just kind of the way that I would describe his campaign really was just, it was lackluster. His message was overall good. He wasn't a good messenger, and then even the message itself kind of got watered down as time went on.
If I sat you down right now in a polling booth and your only choices were Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio, which lever do you pull?
Oh my gosh!
Silence.
I don't know.
You guys hear this? Total. The crickets are chirping louder and louder. All right. Kat, just promise us that if you decide you want to share an answer for that one, you'll come back and call back and tell us which of those levers, because we know you're not pulling the Trump lever. You're not going to work for the Trump organization. That's for sure.
No, it's like, would you rather eat a worm or a grasshopper? So I'll have to think about it.
I think they do sell chocolate-covered grasshoppers in some places, but that is a digression.
Yeah.
Kat Timpf of National Review. You can also see her. You are on the Greg Gutfeld show, right?
Yep. There's a new episode on Saturday.
Saturday, 10 p.m.?
Good one. Mm-hmm.
All right. Check out the Greg Gutfeld Show. And please, Kat, give Greg and Joanne my warm regards. And thank you very much for calling in. It was great to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The Buck Sexton Show.